Now that someone is an adult, what they might notice is that they don't have a strong connection with their feelings. In general, they might not know how they feel and be in a disconnected state. But even if they do experience a feeling or a number of feelings, it doesn't mean that they will pay attention to what is going on inside them. They could typically ignore how they feel and just carry on with what they are doing, or going in the direction that they are going, for instance. Being this way may mean that they often end up being deprived of what they need and spend a lot of time feeling exhausted. Ultimately, their feelings will be there to provide them with guidance. So, if they have the inclination to be out of touch with how they feel and to ignore how they feel, it is to be expected that they would suffer. To use an analogy, it will be as though the dashboard of a car is sending messages that need to be heeded for the right steps to be taken, but these signs are simply overlooked. For their life to change, it will be essential for them to start paying attention to how they feel and to no longer deny this part of their being. By doing this, they will be able to see what their feelings are trying to tell them and to utilize the information that is being provided by them. However, although this is an important first step, they may find that it is hard for them to be with how they feel. They could find that a big part of them sees their feelings as having no importance and even looks down on them. To this part of them, connecting to and being with how they feel is going to be seen as being indulgent. They are then going to soon have the need to go back to how they were before and to ignore this part of them. Along with this part of them could believe that they are wasting their time by connecting to how they feel and just need to get things done. In other words, their feelings will stop them from being productive. Still, while being this way may allow them to be productive, it is highly unlikely that it will allow them to form deeper connections with others. When it comes to their relationships, this could be an area of their life that lacks depth and fulfillment. Yet, as they spend a lot of their time being out of touch with how they feel, they are likely to spend a lot of time estranged from their need to form deeper connections with others. If they were to start paying attention to how they feel, they might soon feel the need to experience more depth in this area of their life. If they were to reflect on how they experience life, they could wonder why they don't have a strong connection with their feelings. Furthermore, they could struggle to understand why they rarely listen to their feelings and don't value them. They might see that they have been this way for as long as they can remember, and thus they might believe that they were just born this way. What this may show is that they were brought up in an environment where their feelings were largely overlooked. Throughout their formative years, their parent or parents might have seldom acknowledged how they felt. This would have stopped them from receiving the attunement that they needed to form a healthy relationship with their emotional self. What this comes down to is that just as they needed food and water for their physical self to grow, they also needed the right emotional nutrients for their emotional self to grow. Without this part of them would have stayed in an underdeveloped state. Moreover, there may have been moments when they were put down, rejected, and abandoned for expressing how they felt. The message would have been clear: hide how you feel, and you will be accepted and survive. This would have meant that they had to lose touch with a big part of themselves and to play a role, to go from a real person to an unreal person. The pain that they experienced through not receiving the attunement that they needed would have also played a part in them becoming emotionally shut down. How their parent or parents responded to their emotional self at this stage of their life is then going to be how they will respond to this part of themselves now that they are an adult. This stage of their life will be over, of course, but a big part of them will still believe that they need to hide how they feel in order to be accepted and survive. In all likelihood, their parent or parents were also brought up in an environment where their feelings were not acknowledged and seen as being important. This would have caused them to go from a feeling human being to a human being that had more in common with a robot. With this in mind, if you can see that you don't have a strong connection with your emotional self, and if you do get in touch with your feelings, you automatically deny them and push them down again, because to you, or to a part of you, embracing how you feel is seen as something that is bad and even shameful, then, as I've said, this may be a continuation of what took place during your formative years. Perhaps this was, quite frankly, an environment where feelings were not acknowledged, where feelings were denied, ignored, pushed down, seen as things that had no purpose. And so through living in an environment where feelings were overlooked, ignored and denied and criticized, then you have continued to experience life in the same way. What was going on externally would have been internalized, and now the voices that were out there will now be inside your head. But the fact is, your feelings are not bad. They are there to provide you with guidance. And through listening to them, through being in touch with this side of you, you will be a more whole and complete human being. You will be able to take care of your needs better. So instead of overworking and being exhausted, for instance, you will be able to take a step back, to have a day off, to have a few moments, a few hours where you do nothing, to recharge, to be more in balance, and of course to also have deeper connections with others, because through being connected to your own feelings, you will be able to be more connected to other people. You will be able to share more of yourself, which will allow other people to feel closer to you. So there will be the beliefs that you will need to question about your feelings, and most likely you will also carry a lot of pain as well that will need to be worked through. And as always, this will take courage and patience and persistence, and you may need to reach out for external support, but the main thing is that you do what you need to do to gradually change your life. If you would like to find out more about the services that I offer, please go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk, and I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.